So this morning, it's all about a happy accident, one which I'm glad I had. So we're talking approaching Christmas, 1989. I'm in Virgin Megastore, Manchester. I'm downstairs and I'm absolutely convinced I won't be buying anything today. On my way out, just before I come to the stairs, there's a bargain bin. And I noticed loads of sort of pop singles on top. But there's something at the bottom which is intriguing me. And it's a 12-inch. So, I root down and get to it. And I pull this out. And I'm glad I did. Overkill for Years of Decay, 1989. Great record. I looked at it and thought, this looks fantastic. Loved that sleeve. Loved the photography on the back as well, because I was just starting to get into photography then. Some cracking portraits there of the guys. That current lineup from 1989. So I was convinced. I said, right, okay, what can go wrong? It's $3.99. What's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is I don't like it. I was wrong. I did like it, and I still like it. It's a great record. Very dark, very heavy. Not quite what I was expecting. It's quite progressive. And the production's really good as well. The guys in the band at the time did talk about the producer Terry Day absolutely nailing it this time. Whereas on previous efforts, other producers hadn't quite got the same impact that this record does have, and it does have a lot of impact. It's the 4th studio LP by the band, the New York Thrashers, Overkill. And who's in the band at that stage? Well, you've got obviously Bobby Blitz, Ellsworth on vocals. You have Dee Dee Verney on bass. Let's see who else we've got on here. We have Bobby Gustafsson. I wasn't sure that there was two Bobbies, but there were. Bobby Gustafsson on guitars and Sid Falk on drums. Now that lineup isn't the current lineup, obviously. It's changed since then, which most bands have done. Apparently there was a bit of bad blood between the guys, mainly coming from Ellsworth. I keep wanting to say Ellefson, but that's Megadeth. Ellsworth and Gustafsson. Apparently there was a bit of bad blood. I don't like to read about things like that, but what can you do? That's rock and roll. Not a lot you can do. It's just the way it is. These things happen. In a way, it proves that they care, because you don't become passionate over anything unless you really care about it. So you can turn it into a positive. Don't just look at it as a negative. Talking of positive and negative, even though this is a very dark record, in many ways, it's not. It's a cathartic record. It doesn't leave you on a downer. It leaves you on an up, because the power of it is so good. The actual physical playing is so good and so complex and so entertaining, and the lyrics are so entertaining as well. It's very well written record, very well laid out, and as I said, very well produced. So what have you got on here? Well, you've got some long songs, you've got some short songs. Time to Kill, Elimination, I Hate, cracking song, I Hate. That could have been a single, maybe it was, but I've not seen any mention of that. Nothing to Die For, that's a very dark song. It's so dark that it's probably my least favourite on the record, because think of this concept, nothing to die for. That's very heavy to have that floating around your head. It's a very heavy thought. And then you've got the little instrumental Playing with Spiders and Skull Crusher, which is a big long epic that finishes side 1. But it's very entertaining. Despite its heaviness and its repetitiveness and its brutality, on all the instruments, including the drums. Skull Crusher stays with you. A lot of these songs do stay with you. Birth of Tension, it kicks off side 2. Who Tends the Fire, that kind of, it sort of melts into the Years of Decay, the title track. And then the final thing, Evil Never Dies. A truer statement. Was there ever a truer statement? I don't think there was. So all in all, it's a very, very pleasing record. I think it's probably one of the best they ever did, having heard everything they've ever done. Apart from possibly the latest one from this year, Scorched, which is absolutely superb. Great record. If you've not heard it, you should do. Now, if you've not heard this puppy, The Years of Decay, then you should do, because it's great. If you're a thrasher, and the very idea of thrash metal becoming a little bit progressive put you off, then it shouldn't, because this is a great record and they do the whole progressive thing very, very well. They don't wimp out at all. It's still thrash metal, it's just a bit slower. It's just pulling back the backbeat and everything else, and it still works. The lyrics and the power and the production make it work. How did it do when it came out as far as reviews go? Well, it got encouraging reviews. Retrospectively, people look upon this as probably their greatest work, as I said before. How people will view Scorched retrospectively, I don't know, but I think it will be favourable. So far, people are loving it, and they should, because it's very good. How did it do on the old charts? Not that it really matters, but it may be of interest. It was to me anyway. Let's have a look. Well, obviously it wasn't a big seller. It got no airplay whatsoever. So we got to... Actually, Elimination did get released as a single. No chart positioning whatsoever. Doesn't surprise me. The record, the whole LP... it just sank without trace. But in America, it at least cracked the Billboard 200. So it got to number 155, which is barely a squeak, but seriously, from a record like this, what could you possibly expect? But to fans of this genre, thrash metal, this is a good album, and you should hear it. You really should. So that is Overkill, The Years of Decay, 1989.